This. This. Iyang tiro me fairo. Moni bambacho wantola, chungol kaping, lingan, o wow, o en ko wong sama child coach yeyas. Kay paniban kuburan kachti kokoros, me resilap tiyong punpay sarawi watch. Me uya soleten sap, ong ni soleten wow, ong punpay sarawi watch. Rakachin kuburay kisakan mepan, papatatokan ran watch, wasen kak chungalan ki salatak na nachpuko. Kalanganan kupuroko. Good morning. Nesoranim, Motuwo, and Kaselelia to everyone. Traditional leaders from across the Federated States of Micronesia, Mr. President, Chief Justice Yamase, leadership of the states and governments, leadership of the various community settings, honored guests, families and friends, ladies and gentlemen in the gallery. Welcome to the opening of the new 21st Congress of the Federated States of Micronesia. Traditional leaders from across the Federated States of Micronesia and to FSM citizens across the nation and beyond its borders who are with us through technology. From your nation's capital in Palikir, we extend a good morning to you. Yesterday, May 10th, marked 40 years of constitutional government and the FSM being a sovereign, self-governing nation. 40 years in the good book was a period of trial to learn life's hard lessons in order to build on a promise. And for our nation, the promise is for a better future. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to be allowed the privilege to introduce to you your members of the 21st Congress of the Federated States of Micronesia. We will begin with our four-year at-large senators elect of your 21st Congress, followed by the two-year members in the order of the congressional election districts. And today, we will go by alphabetical orders of the states, beginning with the state of Chuk, Koshai, Pohnpei, and Yap. So let's work our way westward and begin with the beautiful island of historic and underwater living museum. Please welcome from the beautiful state of Chuk, the at-large Senator Wesley W. Simina. Representing Congressional Election District 1. Please welcome Senator-elect Florencio Singoro Harper. Harper represents the Upper, Mid, and Lower Mortlock Islands, or the region collectively known as the Mortlock Islands. Representing Congressional Election District 2, please welcome Senator-elect Victor Vicky Golan. Congressional District 2 is comprised of the islands of Wera, Pispadeo, and Faro, better known as Northern Namonas. Representing Congressional Election District 3, please welcome Senator-elect Terencio S. Conman. Congressional District 2 is a collection of municipalities of Toroas, Uman, Fefem, Param, and Sis, collectively referred to as Southern Namoneas. Representing Congressional District 4, please welcome Senator-elect Tuwitar Aritos. Congressional District 4 is comprised of Toresam, PPO, and Namunsafa, better known as the Faichuk region. Representing Congressional District 5, please welcome Senator-elect Robson U. Romero. Congressional District 5 is comprised of Patu, Namanweta, and Pafang, and the area collectively referred to as Northwest region of the state of Truk. Moving on to wake up our majestic sleeping lady. From the island blessed with bountiful gardens, the beautiful state of Koshai, please welcome Senator-elect at large Joshua P. George. He's also the four-year. Representing Congressional District 1, please welcome Senator-elect Palikne K. Welly. From the island of archaeological ruins and mysteries and host of our nation's capital, please welcome from the beautiful state of Pohnpei, Senator-elect at large, four-year Representative David W. Panuelo. Representing Congressional District 1, please welcome Senator-elect Fernie S. Perman. Perman represents the municipalities of Colonia, Soques, Sapuafic, Nukuoro, and Kapingamarangi. Representing Congressional Election District 2, Senator-elect Dion G. Neth. Election District 2 is comprised of the biggest municipalities in Pohnpei, Kichi, and Metalanin. Representing Congressional Election District 3, please welcome Senator-elect Esmond B. Moses. And finally, from our intriguing state of Yap, the furthermost western state of our nation, please welcome the at-large member, 4 years, Senator-elect Joseph J. Urusamo. And finally, it is a distinct honor to introduce the most senior returning member-elect of the new Congress. He joined the Third Congress in 1983 and has since served as the two-year member from the state of Yap. Today, he will preside over the new congressional body as the temporary speaker. Please welcome Senator-elect Isaac V. Figueroa. Thank you very much. May I ask that we give another round of applause to your members of the 21st Congress. At this time, may I ask that everyone rise for the singing of our national anthem? Thank you very much.
Seated.
That concludes the ceremonial portion of today's proceedings and my little role in today's event. Now I turn the floor over to the temporary speaker for today's order.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Again, it's my honor and privilege to preside over our new Congress. and most especially because today marks the 40th anniversary of these great nations of ours. We should all be proud of that. I now call 21st Congress of the Federal States of Micronesia into order pursuant to Article 9, Section 16 of the Constitution of the Federal States of Micronesia, Section 201 of Title III of the Code of the Federal States of Micronesia as amended, and in accordance with Rule 1, Section 5 of the Official Rule of Procedure of Congress of the Federal States of Micronesia, and on behalf of our people, whatever they might be, 4 states united into one nation, indivisible, I hereby call the session of the 21st Congress of the Federal States of Micronesia. Before we proceed with this morning's ceremony, I have at this time, I'd like to request the Sergeant of Arms to please escort Father Ken Urumoluk, Vice Vicar, Catholic Vicarte of Ponape, Kotzrai, Diocese of the Caroline Islands, to the podium to give the invocation. Can we all please rise for the invocation?
I invite you, in the wisdom of all our religion, to begin with the moment of silence. We praise you, we bless you, and we thank you, Almighty and eternal God. We know you are near, always at our side, guarding us from the foe and leading us in ways everlasting. You are our Creator. Where can we run from your love? For when we fly to the sunrise and sail beyond the seas, we find you always there. You are forever at our side. Marvelous are your works, and profound your thoughts. We beg your goodness and mercy to shine on us today and pour forth your blessing on our new Congress and all the 4 states in which they represent, which stand united as one Federated States of Micronesia. We have enjoyed your peace in these islands, but have also witnessed wars brought to our shores and experienced that which is beyond our control, climate change and its consequences. You have helped us through all, and we hope for more. As our leaders gather for the first session of the 21st Congress, we ask for your mercy, protection, and guidance. Take care of them and assist them with the wisdom in assembly and courage in action. Influence the unjust thoughts which are against the common good of our nation and its people. Convince and constrain them to drop the unthinkable thirst for injustice, but strive for what is the best and the noble. Lord, You are the God of goodness and mercy. Direct the actions of this honorable assembly. Enable them to settle their differences on the best and solid foundation. That the days of campaignings are over, and that harmony, peace will be restored, and truth and justice prevail, and flourish among them, and overflow into the lives of our people. Preserve the health of their bodies and the attentiveness of their mind. Nail into their hearts the love of our nation and its people. Such love which your Son has shown us as he came to live among us on earth. And reward them, Lord, with the everlasting glory in the hearts and minds of our people and in your kingdom forever. We ask our prayers, for we are confident through Christ our Lord. Amen.
You may be seated. Thank you very much, Father Ken Romero. If there's no objection, I would like to call upon Senator-elect Florencio S. Harper, the two-year Senator-elect from Election District 1, the Mortlock from the state of Truk, to be our temporary floor leader this morning. If no objection, Florencio S. Harper will be our temporary floor leader this morning. Our first item on business today is the adoption of temporary rules of Congress.
Temporary Speaker.
You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Temporary Speaker. Before I make a motion for the adoption of our temporary rules of procedure, I would like to take this time to simply remind us of a verse of a song which says, "Today is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." Therefore, I would like to ask that we all put aside our personal and political differences and let us just rejoice and be glad in this very day, May 11, 2019. As we all know, it is the 40th anniversary of our nation. At this time, Mr. Speaker, I move that this Congress adopt the official rules of procedures of the last 20th FSM Congress as the temporary rules of procedure for this 21st FSM Congress.
It's been moved and seconded that we use the temporary rules of the 20th Congress as the temporary rule for the 21st Congress. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We'll use the 20th Congress rules of procedure as the temporary rule of the 21st Congress of the Federal States of Micronesia. we need to elect a temporary chief clerk. I'd like to call at this time for the purpose of our transaction, to expedite our transaction. And if no objection, I appoint Mrs. Luena Ramon Ioannis as our temporary chief clerk. If no objection, be it. Now we're down to appointing a committee, a credential committee, to look at the credential of the senator-elects. May I now call upon the following senator-elect to constitute the credential committee. Let me begin with the senator-elect David W. Panualo, the at-large member from the state of Ponape State, as chairman of the committee. Senator-elect Joseph J. Urusamal, the at-large member from the state of Yap. Senator-elect Victor S. Gulen of election district number 2 of Troop State, and Senator-elect Palikno Willie of the Kosrae State as member of this committee. The chair will declare a short recess, subject to the call of the chair, to await the progress report of the credential committee. While in recess, I suggest that we just wait for the credential committee to come up with its report. So I call for a short recess, subject to the call of the chair. You may use the caucus room in the back. Congress comes back to order. Chairman of the Credential Committee, are you ready to make report to Congress?
Mr. Temporary Speaker, yes, I do.
Please proceed.
Ready. Mr. Temporary Speaker, good morning to you and good morning to all members and everyone observing from the gallery. Mr. Temporary Speaker, I'm honored on behalf of the Credentials Committee to present the oral report. Please allow me to make that report. Your Committee on Credentials, to which was referred the review of credentials of all members-elect of the 21st Congress, begs to leave report as follows. Your Committee on Credentials has carefully reviewed the qualifications and eligibility of all the senators-elect as certified by our National Election Director after the March 5, 2019 National General Elections. A copy of the National Election Director's Office official certifications contained in the communication dated April 22, 2019 are attached here to and made part of this report. It should be noted that a revote of the Kushai State Special Polling Place in Bonbay was conducted on April 18, 2019, and the results of the revote are contained in the final certification. It should also be noted that an appeal was filed by Joshua P. George on April 1st, 2019, from Director Otto's decision authorizing the revote. On April 5th, 2019, a motion for the preliminary injunction halting the revote until after the court heard the appeal was filed. The motion for preliminary injunction was denied on April 8, 2019. On April 23, 2019, the case was dismissed as moot based on the results of the revote. Your Committee on the Credentials finds, based on our careful review and deliberations, that each and every member-elect named below possesses all of the qualifications and is eligible to serve and be a member of the 21st Congress of the Federated States of Micronesia. Mr. Speaker, thus it is recommended that the credentials of each and every member-elect named below be accepted and that they collectively take the oath of office as members of the 21st Congress of the Federated States of Micronesia in accordance with the Constitution and laws of the Federated States of Micronesia. The senators-elect are as follows, Mr. Temporary Speaker. Representing the state of Chuk, I'm honored to name the following senators-elect. Number 1, Senator-elect, the Honorable Wesley W. Simena. Number 2, Senator-elect, the Honorable Florencio Singoro Arbor. Number 3, Senator-elect, the Honorable Victor Vicky Kulan. Number 4, Senator-elect, the Honorable Terencio S. Conman. Number 5, Senator-elect, the Honorable Twitter Aritos. Number 6, Senator-elect, the Honorable Robson U. Romero. Representing the state of Kushai, Mr. Temporary Speaker, number 1, Senator-elect, the Honorable Joshua P. George. Number 2, Senator-elect, the Honorable Paliknoa K. Welly. Representing the state of Bonbay, Mr. Temporary Speaker, number 1, Senator-elect, the Honorable David W. Panuelo, or yours truly. Number 2, Senator-elect, the Honorable Fernie S. Perman. Number 3, Senator-elect, the Honorable Dion G. Ned. Number 4, Senator-elect, the Honorable Esmond P. Moses. And representing the state of Yap, Temporary Speaker, number 1, Senator-elect the Honorable Joseph J. Rusamal. Number 2, Senator-elect the Honorable Isaac V. Figuer. Your Committee on Credentials is in full accord with the credentials of each and every member-elect named above and recommends that pursuant to Article 9, Section 7 of the FSM Constitution, Congress finds the members-elect eligible to serve and allow them to receive the oath of office to serve as senators and members of the 21st Congress of the Federated States of Micronesia. Mr. Temporary Speaker, respectfully submitted, signed by David W. Panuelo, Joseph J. Rusumal, Victor V. Kulan, and Paliknoa K. Welly. Mr. Temporary Speaker, this is the report of your Credentials Committee, and thank you.
May I get a motion for the adoption of the report?
So move. Mr.
President.
Speaker, I so move.
It's been moved and seconded that the Congress adopt the Credential Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion is adopted. Now that the Credential Committee report has been adopted, let me have the first privilege to congratulate you, gentlemen, for being duly elected and seated. Now, may I ask the Sergeant of Arms to escort Associate Justice Honorable Bulin Carl Warswick of the Supreme Court of the Federal States of Micronesia to administer the oath of office of Senator to the Senator-elect collectively.
Senators-elect of the 21st Congress, please rise and take your oath of office. You are to repeat after me. After saying aye, please state your own name. Raise your right hand and take your oath. I solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Senator of the Congress of the Federated States of Micronesia and will, to the best of my ability, uphold, promote, and support the laws and the Constitution of the Federated States of Micronesia. So help me God. Thank you and congratulations. Please be seated.
Thank you. Thank you. Chief Clerk, call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Temporary Speaker. Senator Aritos, Senator Figuer,
Yes.
Senator George, Senator Coolant,
Yes.
Senator Harper,
Amen.
Senator Conman,
A.
Senator Moses,
Amen.
Senator Ned, Senator Panuelo,
Amen.
Senator Perman,
Amen.
Senator Romulo,
Yes.
Senator Simina, Senator Rusmal, Senator Wale.
Here.
Mr. Temporary Speaker, we have 14 members present.
We have a full house, a quorum is present. For our purposes today, that may I ask the temporary floor leader to make a motion for the adoption of the temporary rules of procedure. Be the official rules of the procedures of the 21st Congress of the Federal States of Micronesia.
Temporary Speaker. With your permission,
floor.
Mr. Temporary Speaker, I so move for the adoption of the temporary rules of procedures to be our official rules of procedure for this 21st FSM Congress.
It's been moved and seconded that the official rules of the 20th Congress be adopted as the 21st, be the official rule of the 21st Congress of the Federal States of Micronesia. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The official rule of the 20th Congress be the official rule of the 21st Congress. Now that we have an official rule and I think we're ready to transact business, may I again call for a short recess so that we can caucus. Short recess declared. Congress comes back to order. We now proceed to the election of the presiding officers of the Congress of the Federal States of Micronesia. We will start based on the decision we made in the caucus. Any nomination for the speaker?
Mr. Temporary Speaker.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Temporary Speaker. I nominate the at-large senator from Chuk, Honorable Westa Simina, to be the Speaker of the 21st FSM Congress. So move.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that the Honorable four-year term at large from the state of Truk, Wesley Simina, be the Speaker of the 21st Congress. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. So be it. The next Speaker of the 21st Congress of the Federal States of Micronesia is the Honorable Wesley Simina. Congratulations. Again, it's my privilege to ask that we all rise to receive the Speaker of the Congress of the Federal States of Micronesia, the Honorable Wesley W. Simina, at large from the state of Truk.
Please take your seats. We are still in session. I would like to, first of all, thank Senator Fikir for taking care of our business from the beginning until now. And may I, on behalf of my family and the people of Truk State, express our sincere appreciation to you, gentlemen, my fellow senators, for the vote of confidence that you have entrusted in us. We will try to do our best to work together with you to make sure that this 21st FSM Congress performs its duties as required by law and our Constitution. And I am sure all of you will join me in expressing our sincere appreciation to our colleague, again, Senator Fikir, for an excellent job that he has done in running this morning's proceedings. May we all give him a big round of applause. I will make a short statement afterwards, but we still have some business of this 21st Congress to take care of. Now, at this time, pursuant to our rules, we have to elect the Vice Speaker and then the rest of the officers of this Congress. So let us begin with the Vice Speaker. I will now entertain any nomination.
Mr. Speaker.
Senator Pullen.
Mr. Speaker, I nominate Senator Hesmond Moses to be a Vice Speaker of the 21st Congress. So move, Mr. Speaker.
It's been moved and seconded that Senator Moses be the Vice Speaker. Any other nomination? If
Point of
none,
privilege, Mr. Speaker.
state your point, Floor Leader.
Thank you,
Acting
Mr.
Floor.
Speaker. I have no objection to the nomination, except that I want to say that my Benene, he looks more American than Micronesian.
Well, I guess that's a plus, not a negative, I believe so. Okay, so if there is no further discussion on the nomination, by virtue of him being the only nominee, I hereby declare by acclamation that he's selected as our Vice Speaker of the 21st Congress. May we give him a round of applause. Thank you very much for that part of our business. The next officer for election is the floor leader of the 21st Congress. I will now entertain any nomination.
Mr. Speaker.
Senator Berman.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I nominate the Honorable Florencio Singoro Harbor to be our 21st Congress floor leader. So moved.
It's moved and seconded that Florencio Singoro Harbor be the floor leader of the 21st Congress. Any other nomination or discussion? If none, there's no objection. By our consensus, Mr. Senator Harbor is elected as our floor leader of the 21st Congress by acclamation. May we give him a round of applause. The next item is item 13. Vice Speaker Moses, you have any?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm sorry if I'm going to break the schedule, but I would like to move that this Congress goes down to item number 16 on the day's calendar, which is the election of the Vice President. So moved.
Second.
If there is no objection, we will now go down the item for item 15, which is the election of the Vice President. May I entertain some nomination, motion?
Thank you. I nominate the Senator at large from the state of Kasai, Yusua George, to be the next Vice President of the Federated States of Micronesia. So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that the at-large senator from state of Kasai, Mr. Senator Yusua George, be nominated as the Vice President of our nation. Any discussion? If none, by our consensus, Senator Yusua George is elected as the Vice President of this nation by acclamation. May we give him a round of applause. If there may be no objection, I'd like us to go back to item 14. Short recess, subject to call of the chair.
Mr. Speaker, since we're in recess, if we go back, I would like to make another motion.
We'll do that. Congress is back in session. You're recognized, Vice
Thank
Speaker
you,
Moses.
Mr. Speaker. I move that Congress goes to item number 15 on today's calendar. So move, Mr. Speaker.
It's moved and seconded that we go to the item 16, election of the President. There's no objection, so be it. We will now entertain nomination for the President of the nation. Senator Romero.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is my privilege and honor to nominate the Senator at Large from the Pohnpei State, the Honorable David W. Panuelo, as the President. So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that Senator Panuelo of Pohnpei be the President of our nation. If there is no objection and pursuant to our consensus reached, I hereby declare Senator David Panuelo as the next President of the Federated States of Micronesia by acclamation of vote. Let's give him a round of applause.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes, Vice Speaker Moses.
I move that we go down to item number 17 on today's calendar, which is the administration of the oath of office of President and Vice President of the Federated States of Micronesia. I
Yes,
so move.
if there's no objection, we will now go down to the administration of oath of office to the Vice President. There's no objection. I ask the Sergeant at Arms to lead in our honor the Chief Justice of the FSM Supreme Court, Yamase, to administer the oath to Vice President George. Short recess subject to call of the chair. Is someone holding his Bible? Vice President, will there be someone holding your Bible? We'll wait for Chairman Figueroa, did you leave your cell phone here? I'm looking at it. Congress is now back in session. We will now have the administration of oath of office to the Vice President George. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you. Please raise your right hand, place your left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. I, please state your name, solemnly affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of the Vice President of the Federated States of Micronesia and will, to the best of my ability, uphold, promote, and support the laws and the Constitution of the Federated States of Micronesia. So help me God. Congratulations.
At this point, I would like to call upon the President-elect, David Panuelo from the state of Pohnpei, to please come and have your oath administered. you have someone to hold your Bible? Please proceed, Chief Justice Yamase.
Thank you very much. Please raise your right hand, place your left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me.
I'm a lefty, so my right hand. Excuse me, thank you. I, David W. Banuelo, solemnly affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the Federated States of Micronesia and will, to the best of my ability, uphold, promote, and support the laws and the Constitution of the Federated States of Micronesia. So help me God.
Please take your seat, and I'm going to declare those 2 seats vacant, and then I'm sorry you can no longer be in this chamber. Okay?
Point of privilege, Mr. Speaker.
State your point first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I simply want to state for the record that the lady holding the Bible for the President is my Benini.
Well, I'm sure that's a positive thing too. Okay?
Mr. Speaker,
Person, yes.
I didn't
Mr.
hear, but
President, I will allow you this moment to
I
say
didn't hear what you said, but it's to the effect of evicting me from your house. Was that what you were saying?
No, the one holding the Bible is Pinene, so you should be happy about that. Okay? Now, pursuant to the rules and Constitution of our nation, I hereby declared the at-large seats for Bombay State and Pushai State as vacant as of now. The election office will begin its process of doing the special elections. May I ask that those 2 gentlemen, the President and the Vice President, be excused from our chamber. Short recess, subject to call for chamber. Please, let's take our seats so we can finish up business today. Sure, no problem. Yes. You got it.
Vice. Vice.
Sergeant, call all the members in. Need to continue. Congress will now come back to session. If there's no objection, I would like us to move back to item 14. That's the appointment of the chairpersons of the standing committees and a special committee. It is my privilege and honor, in accordance with the decisions of the members of this Congress, to appoint the following senators to be the chairman of the appropriate standing committees and the Special Committee on Climate Change and Environmental Issues. We begin with the Committee on Ways and Means. By decision of members, Senator Isaac F. Figueroa of YAP is selected as its chairman. May we please give him a round of applause. The second committee is the Standing Committee on Judiciary and on Transportation and Communications. By decision of members, Senator Victor S. Cullen of Chuk State is selected as its chairman. Let's give him a round of applause. The Standing Committee on External Affairs, the decision of members is that Senator Palikna K. Willie of Koshwai State will be its chairman. Let's give him a round of applause. The Standing Committee on Education, by decision of members, Senator Joseph J. Urzimal of Yap State is selected as its chairman. Let's give him a round of applause. The The Standing Committee on Health and Social Affairs, by decision of members, Senator Fernie S. Berman of Pohnpei State is selected as its chairman. Lastly, but not the least, we have a special committee on climate change and environmental issues that's always created by Congress, and by decision of members, Senator Terencio Esconman of Chuk State is selected as its selected too. And I ask that we continue to work together in the spirit of harmony and cooperation to ensure that we are discharging and performing our duties as required by the laws and Constitution of our country. Shortly, is subject to call of the chair.
Speaker, have you been informed of the chairman of the delegations?
Please repeat.
I'm asking whether you've been informed of the chairman of the delegations.
No, that will be internal to us. Each delegation will make that decision later on. Congress is back in session. As to the election of our chief clerk, it is in there by rules, but if there's an objection, because we have to do it by resolution, I ask that we defer that until further notice. Okay, so if there is no objection, so be it. And right now, we are on item 18. That's the appointment of the committee to wait on the president. Pursuant to agreement of members, I hereby appoint Senator Chairman Berman to also chair that committee, Senators Conman, Figuer, and Willie as members. Please consult with the president as to the place and time of your meeting. Next item is introduction of bills and resolutions.
Point of privilege, Mr.
If
Speaker.
you have any, please pass them on to Chief Clerk. State your point,
Thank you,
for
Mr.
Leader
Speaker.
Harbor.
I rise on a point of privilege to take this opportunity to introduce certain officials and dignitaries who are observing our session this morning. But before I do that, I would like to yield the floor to one of the members of Pohnpei delegation to do the introduction first on the traditional leadership of Pohnpei. And may I yield the floor to Senator Moses?
Vice Speaker Moses, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I start, if you notice, when the President and Vice President exited our chamber, most of the people exited the gallery, and including our traditional leaders, which we wanted to recognize. But before I move on further, I would like to do it in our vernacular here in Pohnpei. So mo itungol kay buni rakso ko on ganan gan ko likan nana lango nangan ko o karusia. Mr. Speaker, I would like to submit a list of all the traditional leaders that were in attendance today for the record. But then I would like to recognize that they were here, several non-Marquis, a couple of Nankins, their wives, and it's unfortunate that due to timing that they have left us, but we're fortunate that they did grace us with their presence this morning. I would like to further congratulate you, congratulate the new president, the new vice president on this day. I would like to recognize presence of former presidents, Maury and Christian. We have members of the diplomatic corps with us. I believe I saw the Speaker of the Pohnpei State Legislature and the Governor of the State of Pohnpei here with us. And I would like to thank everybody in attendance that took part in the elections in March and April that made this day happen, and all of us seated. And with that, I would like to also special recognition to the people of Pohnpei, especially my district. Want to recognize also my wife and my kids first among my family members, since they, regardless of their participation in any work that I do, but the job that we have certainly affects our families, especially those closest. I would also like to recognize my mother, who's in the gallery, and my sister and my brother, who are also in attendance today. And would just like to thank the whole population of the Federated States of Micronesia for their support in the work of Congress and the work of the government of the Federated States of Micronesia. So with that, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and that's what I had to say. And thank you, Floor Leader, for allowing me the floor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Vice Speaker Moses. The floor is yielded back to Floor Leader Harbert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Vice Speaker, for the introduction of the Pohnpei leadership. And at this time, I would like to join Vice Speaker to introduce certain individuals who are also observing our session this morning. And may I also begin with those who have already been mentioned by Vice Speaker Moses, our former Excellencies President Emmanuel Mori and His Excellency President Peter M. Christians. I don't know whether they're still in the gallery or they have already walked out, but for their leadership and guidance in the previous years to lead our nations, I would like to ask that we give them a round of applause. And of course, our newly elected president and vice president, they're still sitting in the gallery. And I would like to ask all of us to give them a collective recognition by giving them a round of applause. Speaker, according to the list in front of me, we have members of our diplomatic community, and if I may, I would like to start out with the ambassador from the Australian Embassy to FSM, His Excellency George Fraser. Mr. Speaker, this name sounds like the former boxer champion. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, we are also honored and happy to have with us His Excellency Ambassador Ryoichi Horie from the Japan Embassy to FSM. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to point out that His Excellency Horie has a traditional title here in Pohnpei given by the non-monarchy of Medellin, the highest non-monarchy on the island. The title is Aron Kiron Nan Towas. Let's give him a round of applause for that. Ambassador, I'm kind of jealous. Follow is Ambassador from our Embassy of the United States, His Excellency Robert Riley. And with all the three, we are also fortunate and happy to have with us His Excellency Ambassador Huang Shen from the People's Republic of China. We have also a special person, I believe he's also observing our session this morning, Director General Dr. Manu Tupo Rosen from the Forum Fisheries Agency. Let's give him a round of applause also. And we're also fortunate to have with us this morning our own diplomatic community who are stationing abroad. And if I may, I would like to start off with His Excellency Ambassador John Fritz of the FSM Embassy to Japan. With him, I think we also have Her Excellency Madam Ambassador Jane Jigial of the UN Permanent Mission. With those two, we also have with us His Excellency Ambassador Sebastian Anavel of our Embassy to the Pacific in Fiji. We also have with us His Excellency Ambassador Carol Abis of our Embassy to the People's Republic of China. And we're also fortunate to have with us His Excellency Ambassador Aquilino Susaya of the FSM Embassy to the United States. Speaker, just for your information, this one particular ambassador I used to beat up at Xavier High School.
You can still do it.
And from our consulate offices, we have Mr. Kandi Eliezer from the Hawaii Consulate General in Honolulu. Let's give him a round of applause. We also have Mrs. Therese Philippine from the Guam Consulate General Office. And with them, Mr. Joe Silem Ennet from the Oregon Consulate General, particularly in Portland. Mr. Speaker, we are also fortunate to have with us this morning, according to the list, certain honorary consuls, and may also introduce them. And let me begin with Mr. Diego Benefende, FSM's honorary consul to the CNMI, and Mrs. Benefende. With these two, we also have Mr. Nobu Tisuki Kuribayashi, FSM Honorary Consul to the Hokkaido region in Japan. My apology if I don't pronounce the name correctly. With them is Mr. Naoyuki Iwata, FSM Honorary Consul to Sendai region in Japan. Last but not the least, we also have with us Mr. Mayong Jin Shin, FSM's Honorary Consul to South Korea. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think there are also other officials and dignitaries from the other state. And may I ask the chairman of the delegation to supplement my introduction so that all those other important people can be also introduced this morning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Floor Leader Harbour, for the long but important introduction of people observing our session. Any other point of privilege?
Speaker.
Chairman Berman.
Thank you, Speaker. Congratulations and good morning to you. I guess good afternoon to you, members, His Excellency Panuelo, the Honorable Joshua George, Vice President, President Mori, ambassadors of the FSM to other countries, the diplomatic corps, and all of those that in this gallery observing our session today, our special day today. Mr. Speaker, I rise on a point of privilege to recognize, first of all, my right hand and my beautiful wife, Miyuki David Perman. Please, let's give her a round of applause. I have a list here, so I'm not going to, I'm going to try to just keep it short. My mom is here, Judy Perman Mauricio. She's also here observing our session this morning. My brother Freddie and wife A1, my cousin John Wachup and Celine, my sister Fanceline and Julene, my brother-in-law Winsner, my cousin Ginger Porter Mita, my cousin Kashiano Shanuber, and I have two special, not only friends, but cousins that came all the way out of Guam to observe our session today. And this is a retired fireman and also a retired teacher. And their names are Tony Blas and Raymond Corrido. I also wanted to, before I forget, to pay all my respect to the people of Pohnpei from Pinglap all the way to Kapingamaragi, the traditional leaders, the government leaders, the church leaders, all of those. Without all of these people in Pohnpei, today would not be possible. So on behalf of my wife and I and families, we thank you all for making it happen. And I will do my very best as your representative for the 21st FSM Congress. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Chairman Thurman. Any other point of privilege?
Speaker,
Chairman Ned?
thank you, Speaker. I want to associate myself with the previous speaker's salutations in the interest of time. My congratulations to you, the new president and the new vice president, for your ascension to the helm of leading this country. I trust your leadership will help prepare us for 2023. Good luck, God bless. At this time, I want to introduce for recognition my constituents, but most especially my family, starting with my granddaughters, Maya and Faya, my wife, Vivian, my son, June, my brothers, Senator Ned, and other dignitaries from Matalanim and Kitty. I see Pasang Matalanim there. And I welcome and recognize all the people of Matalanim and Kitty that are participating in this session, either present or in absentia. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Chairman Ned. Chairman Willie, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Greetings from the island of the Sleeping Lady. On behalf of myself and the senator at large that will be coming in July, I want to introduce some state leaders, dignitaries, friends that are observing our session this morning. But before I do that, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the good Lord for the opportunity to be a member of the 21st FSM Congress and to serve as a senator in that capacity. And I also yield my respect to the traditional leaders of Pohnpei that were here, and congratulations to members of the 21st Congress, the new presiding officers, the Vice President, and President of this nation. I don't know if some of these people I want to introduce are still here, but I will introduce them anyway in absentia. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to introduce for recognition Honorable Governor Carson Sikra from the state of Krai. Oh, by the way, please hold your applause till I'm finished the list here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We also have Speaker Talen Chapalik from the Krai State Legislature, Chief of Staff Mr. Rollinson Ned, Administrative Officer of the Krai State Legislature Reverend Simeon Philip, Auntie Lisa George, wife of Vice President, Shue Wele, and we have the same last name, so that's my name, my wife. Calvin Caves, Secretary of Education, and his wife, Cancelina Calvin Caves. Kenye Ismail and Rude Lakimis from our delegation office. Art Santale, Mr. Art Santale is our new administrative officer, a former staff sergeant in the Marine Corps, and a recent graduate of UOC in criminal justice. We also have from Gosha in the gallery this morning, Sebe Kubernet, Abigail Kim, Sebe Salik, and whoever I cannot see in the gallery this morning that is from Gosha, that are from Gosha. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Welle. Chairman Romero, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr.
Then
Speaker.
Colin, next.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, I follow suit with my previous speakers in extending a warm congratulations to you and my utmost respect and congratulations to the newly elected President, His Excellency David Panuelo, and the Honorable Vice President, Joshua George. Also, in recognition, I would also like to ask that we also recognize the presence of our President, His Excellency, President Mori, and also, Mr. Speaker and colleagues, I also would like to beg the indulgence of this body to recognize some family members who are in the gallery, and I wish we hold the applause until I finish with their names. And I begin with my wife, Reslyn Romelo. Also with her is my sister, Rejoice Meiser, my brother, Peter Tilmer and Maritasi Abuse. Also in the gallery is my niece, Patty Tilmer. Mr. Speaker, I also wish to express my sincere appreciation to the voters of the Northwest region of Chuuk for enabling me to come back to the Congress. At the polls last March, we in our region, as elsewhere in the Federation, were divided. That is to be expected. We were performing the necessary political process to ensure the constitution of our representative democracy. Today, having taken the oath of office, I am pleased to say that the Northwest is one constituency as it must. I am under the obligation of our Constitution to represent the Northwest equally as one constituency consistent with the needs and aspirations of the people. In thanking you for your confidence, allow me to call again on your guidance and support in the days ahead. Let us sail together so that together we can confront and prevail upon our common challenges. I also wish to seize this occasion to thank my worthy opponents and friends in the election, Dr. Fi Derradior, Arisao Aichem Sanderrefilong, and Joseph Kono Jr. I have learned from you all there are no reasons to believe your future collaboration could not be beneficial. Therefore, putting the past behind us as bygones, let us look to the future with a positive spirit. Speaking to myself, I look forward to opportunities for working together constructively to advance the interests of the people of Northwest. Let me now turn my attention to you, Mr. Speaker and presiding officers, and all of you, my honorable colleagues. To you, I present my congratulations. More than that, I pledge to work alongside you in moving forward the agenda of this Congress. As the representative of the citizens, we owe the people of this nation the sweat of our brows and the sunshine of our soul. I would be remiss if I did not congratulate the new elected leaders of this federation. I look forward to doing my part in collective and constructive working relations between the branches of the national government. While we must recognize the principle of separation of power under our national constitution, it is the same that imposed upon us as a member of this august body, our ultimate duty and obligations to the people of this nation. Cooperation is a prized commodity. With it, our chance for success are greater. Finally, Mr. Speaker and colleagues, I seek again your intelligence to introduce for recognition some very important people from Northwest in the gallery along with my families. And I begin with the Paramount Chief of Puluat, Mr. Mariano Penido, Taini Elet, Justo Locope, the Traditional Chief of Pulap, Willie Weta, the Traditional Chief of Ruak, Celis Kaliga, the Traditional Chief on Onon, Atanasio Hedibak, a Senator to the House of Senate in the Chuk State Legislature, Andrew May, Representative in the Chuk State House of Representatives, Mayor Mario Penido, Timothy Nomay Iberkawa, and a very special uncle who came all the way from Texas to witness this important occasion, Mr. Ruben Manuere. And last but not the least, the one and only who have worked tirelessly to make sure that I come back every election, the chairman of my campaign committee, Pascal Samar. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Romero, for your statements. Chairman Gulen, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My respect to you and honorable members, I join you, Speaker, and floor leaders to welcome all the dignitaries as well as our new elected president, former His Excellency President Mori, President Christian. Mr. Speaker, because of the constraint of time, I know everybody are kind of shaky because of the sugar is low. And I might just introduce some of my delegation members are joining us today. I also have a remarks, Mr. Speaker. If you allow me to submit this, so that should be recorded on our channel. So, Mr. Speaker, let me begin with our own governor. I don't know if he's still here in the gallery. Our own governor is the Johnson S. Enimo, governor of Chuchuk State. Let's give him a round of applause. And honorable member, Senator Sekap Esa, the senator of the Chuuk State. I am really sorry that I forgot what the chairmanship he was on any committee. Jesse William, the representative. Honorable Jesse William, representative of the Chuuk State Legislature. Let's give him a round of applause. Wisni Nakayama, Junior Noma, Danny, Junior Rescue, is a directive attorney for the Legal Service Office. Ratson Sotaro is a council member of the Water Municipal. Harry Colin, council member. Frank Chonibe is the advisor to the mayor of the Women Affairs. Mareji Sonis, non-commissioner. Sinori Meito, election commissioner of the Water Municipal. Rory Arthur, he's also advisor to the election commissioner. Pintas Kenneth, former mayor of Water. Anthony Akitekit, Francisco Rigat, Rudy Ernest is my uncle on my mom's side, as well as Roger Mori. Those are my constituents. Let's give them a round of applause. I apologize if I miss some of the constituents.
You don't have your mayor here from Water?
I just said the Honorable Mayor Faustino Stephen. I don't know.
I didn't hear it, so that's why I asked.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
also your constituents, Mr. Speaker.
That's why I asked. Thank you, for.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Kulan. Any other point of privilege before we move on?
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Senator Aridos.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a very long list, but I don't see them in the cannery. Maybe they already left. And I would like to just submit the list to the General Clerk to.
Thank you. Yes, Senator Aridos. I think that's the best way of doing that. Just submit so it's on the
Thank you.
record. You can give them a round of applause. Okay. Any other point of privilege?
Point of privilege, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Chairman Coleman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise on the point of privilege also to join my previous speakers. First, in congratulating all the new members of the 21st Congress, including the new elected President and Vice President of the nation, His Excellency Panuano W. David, and the Honorable Vice President Yusuf P. George. In addition, Mr. Speaker, I also wish to take this opportunity to convey my deepest and sincere appreciation to all the mayors from my region, which is Southern Amoneas region in the state of Chuuk, including all the voters who have demonstrated their vote of confidence in me, and that's why I'm able to be here this morning and to be the representative of their views in this very body. Last but not least, Mr. Speaker, because also of the time constraint, I would follow suit with my colleague, Chairman Aritos, to submit the list of my delegation members who are also present this morning to witness this very special occasion. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I also wish to just recognize some few family members who are here this morning who traveled from afar to join us also this morning. I would like to introduce Mrs. Tarnin Mori, traveling from Guam to Pohnpei, and Ms. and Mrs. Tiknet Ayan, who also traveled from Guam to Pohnpei, and Ms. Akasio Sore, traveling from Hawaii to Pohnpei also to witness this very special occasion. Mr. Speaker, last but not least, I would also like to recognize my wife, Dr. Petsapa, who is also in the gallery observing this very special occasion today. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Conman. Actually, that's the first person you should have recognized, other than those.
Short recess.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair.
Speaker, can I do my introduction in recess so I can leave?
Why are you in such a hurry? Where are you going?
Because my stomach is dictating to me what I should do.
Yes, I guess we're almost done.
Speaker, we're good.
Okay. Congress back in session. Any other point of privilege? If none,
Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Chairman Orsimo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I first of all wish to say and to thank you and congratulate you and the new leadership of this nation for moving from one government and one administration to the next, and one leadership of this Congress to the new leadership. I have been blessed by the good Lord with my life, and the good and generous and kind people of the state of Yap in supporting supporting us for the past years to continue to serve them in Congress. I have been privileged and humbled to have witnessed a few transition from one leadership to the next. And I believe this must be the ninth reorganization of the entire national government that I have witnessed. Some of which I enjoyed and were easy and very fast. Others were less enjoyable and a little bit slow. But I must thank those that have made the work and choosing of the FSM leadership possible and easier for the entire nation. And I'm sure people know what I'm talking about. I pledge my support for the next 4 years. Of course, depending on how long I live, to work hard with the rest of you in making sure that we serve not ourselves, but our people, entire people of this nation. The invocation at the beginning of our session this morning, to me, were very moving, and I really thank Father Ken for coming up with such good and thoughtful prayer for our convening of this morning session. So with that honor, I wish to, first of all, introduce him for recognition. Father Kenneth Urmolik, who I don't know if he's still in the gallery, but I'd like to introduce him for recognition. And I have a long list here, so I would beg the indulgence of everyone here to bear with me, because it probably take me an hour to name all the list, people on my list. Two of whom have already been introduced by the good floor leader, His Excellency Sebastian Anafal, our ambassador to Fiji, and the Consul General in Guam, Ms. Teresa Philippine. If I may, I also wish to introduce for recognition the Secretary of the Department of TECAM, the Honorable Andrew Attleman. In charge of, and I'll introduce all these people and then we give a collective applause. In charge of the banking office is no other than the Honorable Jesse Gutemang. And a person who is taking care of us, especially those of us on my care, Miss Arlene Schoff, who's also sitting in the gallery, along with Marie Lamar and Ivan Katananget. I'm happy to also introduce for recognition my niece, who is sitting next to the second lady of this nation, Miss Jade Hielmai. And in absentia, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to once again thank all the people of YAP and the leadership of YAP for their support and ask for their continued support for our efforts, not only at the national government, but also in the state of YAP. We come prepared to work with all of you, and we hope that what was accomplished this morning is an indication of how smooth and orderly the work of this national government will be for the next 4 years. As a former occupant of that very humble office, I only have
one simple request to to His Excellency President David Panuelo and the Honorable Vice President Joshua George. Please bear in mind that this nation is a nation of 4 states. Always, when you consider positions for the government, remember that there are 4 states, and I hope that the allocations of positions will be equitable based on qualifications and merit of performances, including the current members of the outgoing administration. And that also goes for all the overseas offices. I hope that nominations will be forthcoming soon so that we can complete the work of the reorganization of our national government. And rest assured that if you ever need a shoulder to bear part of the burden of that office, don't be a stranger to me, as I would not be, hopefully not a stranger to you. I will do my best to advise when there is need and to help in whatever it is that you may request of my assistance. And likewise, I would really hope that you will lend us the same, especially and particularly in requesting for vessels to service the entire Federation. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I congratulate you and the rest of the leadership for a smooth transition today. No, I know that there may be supporters out there getting disappointed and not happy with what happened, especially with me, but please understand that I will just do extra harder work to see what happened from here on. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Chairman Rosemont, for starting the lobbying to our new president and new vice president. That's for them to decide. It's their discretion. Okay. Yes, you have privilege?
Yes.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will be remiss not to, since today is the day before Mother's Day, and I wish an advance Mother's Day to all mothers, and a special Mother's Day wish to my mother, who's in Palikir today, Sebe Tilumar, and also a mother who have tuned in on the live stream from Washington State. I wish them in advance a Mother's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Romero. If further,
Mr. Speaker.
yes, further, Arbor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know you're tired of hearing my ugly voice, but I would like to ask the patience of this Congress to allow me again to introduce certain people who are still observing our session and who may be outside our building. So if I may, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce those individuals who have been working in the last administration as secretaries and key staff of the last administration, and if they are still legally called secretary, I would ask that we recognize them. We'll just do it by collective recognition, and may I ask that we give them a round of applause. In addition to that, Mr. Speaker, I have a list of my own delegations. I will just try to say their name without their title, but after I finish the list, then I will ask that we just give them a collective round of applause. So let me start with Levius Sammy, Robert Ruben, Wilfred Somey, Soder Sano, Achi Lube, Rickson Fred, Sickler Ainis, Nixon Ajiban, Isaias Petrus, Baden Semina, Roger Arnold, Hendrik Eveluk, Petrus Lopez, Soder Sano, Isaias Petrus, Mantel Team, Ezekiel Lucas, Robert Johnny, Leslie Salet, Nixon Binis, Diego Esechu, Robert Umach, Brianna Warrier, Casey Harper, Eric Marar, and the wife of Mr. Marar. And Speaker, I would like to ask if I could submit this list to be part of our journal also. So may I ask that we give them a big round of applause.
Yes.
Last but not the least, I know maybe you'll be scolding me like Senator Coleman, but sometimes we, make the people whom we really love so much to be at the introduction. So may I also ask that we all recognize my own wife, my very, very beloved wife, a beautiful wife, Mrs. Miriam Harper. Please stand for recognition. And along with my wife, I also have my granddaughter who's carrying two last names who are, senators in this Congress. Her name is Abigail Harper Aridos. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, thank you, Florida Harper. Your list will be submitted to the record, into the record. And yes, same as with Chairman Conman, you should do them first, introduce them first. Okay, any other point of privilege or miscellaneous
Speaker.
business? Yes,
May I,
Chairman Rusmo.
may I ask that we give a round of applause to all of those standing outside, inside that may not have been introduced by any one of us, but have spent time to come and observe our session, especially if they are from Yam. So then we give them our applause.
Thank you, Chairman Rusmol. Indeed, I was going to ask that we recognize all of our citizens and friends who are observing from within and outside the chamber, and those listening in or watching in from abroad or from our 4 states. So thank you for doing that. Any other point of privilege?
Speaker, before we head down to announcements,
Yes, go ahead.
I was just given a piece of paper here for us to recognize 2 individuals, friends of FSM or Micronesia from the state of Portland, Oregon, and this is Lloyd and Steve Henion. Can we give them a round of applause?
Yes, good friends of the Federal States of Micronesia, and you're welcome. And thank you for joining us. Okay, any other miscellaneous? If none, I just want to say a few things before we go to announcement. On behalf of my wife, Hanseli, who is here, and our granddaughter, Angel, who is also here in the gallery, I would like to take this opportunity to join the previous speakers in recognizing our esteemed guests, beginning with our paramount traditional leaders from Bombay and our paramount traditional leaders from the other states who make time to join us this morning. It is also my distinct privilege and honor to pay respect to our newly elected President and our newly elected Vice President. And of course, our two past presidents who are also here, President Mori and President Christian. The past 12 years have been good years for the FSM under their respective leadership. So I just want to acknowledge that and thank them. And I would like to recognize the Honorable Chief Justice Yamasa and the Associate Justices who help us in administering the holds of offices. Our own governors from the 4 states, lieutenant governors, the state legislatures, presiding officers, and members of our legislatures, the excellency members of our diplomatic corps, and other distinguished guests, officials, and fellow citizens who are here in Bombay observing, and those who are in the other 3 states and abroad. I want to begin with words of congratulations to the Federated States of Micronesia, because 40 years ago, yesterday, this national government was formed with the convening of the first Congress of the Federated States of Micronesia and the elections of the first president and the first vice president. It was a solemn moment and actually a smooth period of the beginning of our history. We did not know what to expect then, other than for the sheer dedication and commitment of those who served before us to make our nation work. That smooth and orderly transition continues today. They started out with actually next to nothing. Today, I can say that we have come a long way, owing to their foresight in building a nation founded upon a steadfast belief in our sovereignty and equality among nations, love and respect for our diverse cultures and islands, and the belief in the unity of our island nation. We owe it to them to continue all this and to excel even more for the good of our people. And of course, to all the mothers of this nation, I join Chairman Romero, those who are in our states and abroad. I won't forget you, so I would like to wish you again an advance happy Mother's Day. May you all live happy and fruitful lives. I would also like to take this opportunity as well to thank all members of this 21st Congress for allowing me this opportunity to continue to serve as the Speaker of this 21st Congress. I thank you for supporting my decision to continue to serve as your Speaker, as supported by my troop delegation and this entire Congress. Let us continue to confront and address the challenges before us as a team. It is the only way we can be successful. We have done some good things, but we still have far more things to do as a Congress and as a national government. Our revenue and tax system needs an overhaul, which is long overdue. Our foreign investment laws must be aligned and fixed. Climate change and environmental issues will continue to be the existential threats to our livelihood. Our diplomatic relations continue to be the pathways to stronger friendship and assistance, and we must support and strengthen them. The looming expiration of the economic sections of the Compact of Free Association and other programs and assistance continue to be the urgent undertaking of our government. So support for our JCRB is all the more needed now. Our domestic trust fund is growing, but we need to grow it even more to reach a level that can help support our expected shortfalls in locally funded operations of our 5 governments. These are just a few things that Congress can work on by itself and with cooperation with the executive branch in order to be accomplished. I urge that we act now, not later. Thank you, and let's get to work. Thank you very much. That's my small, short piece. Any other miscellaneous business?
Mr. Speaker.
Florida Harbor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To tell you the truth, I'm not satisfied with your introduction of your own wife. Therefore, I would like to reintroduce her by asking her to stand up and we give her a round of applause so all members can see the beauty of your wife. So may I ask Anseli Simina to stand for recognition. Finally, Mr. Speaker, in talking about your appreciation to the former administration of His Excellency Manny Mori and His Excellency Peter Christian, my brother here was kind of complaining that you didn't mention his administration. So, were you in this Congress when he was the president or not?
No, that was the reason, because I did not experience it firsthand. But two former presidents, yes, I had worked during their administration. Any other point of privilege? If none, we'll go to announcement. But I will only give this time to the chairman of the committee to wait on the president. All of us can make announcements next session day. But before I give it to the Chairman Berman, I would like to go into recess so some miscellaneous announcements can be made by our staff. Short recess subject to call at the chair. Chief Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Right after session today, there will be a photo session for all members and their spouses. And also after session today, we have a
Okay, thank you, Chief Clerk. Okay. Congress is back in session.
Point of privilege, Mr. Speaker. Just
Yes.
for a reminder, are we moving into to the other item, or are we still on the miscellaneous business?
Well, we've pretty much done with our items,
Okay.
except for the announcement. But because this is the first day, I'll just give it to the chairman of the committee to wait on the president to make an announcement on time and place if they have reached some understanding. And all chairmen and members can make announcements tomorrow or whenever we're coming back in session. Okay? Chairman Berman?
Thank you, Speaker. Before I make the announcement on behalf of your committee to wait on the president, let me just associate myself with Robson and Mr. Speaker and say Happy Mother's Day too. And I know I will be scolded because I'm supposed to be the first one to say Happy Mother's Day, but somehow he beat me to that. So, Mr. Speaker, we maybe after if you guys can allow us to take our pictures, you know, we're wearing suit, it's very hot, so I want to take that picture before, right after that, then we'll go and meet with His Excellency and Vice President right after that for the session. So if we may allow us to 2 hours first. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You have the privilege now. You have the privilege of being first since you're heading to the President's office for that meeting. Okay. Any other, before we stand adjourned? Short recess subject to call of the chair. Tomorrow is Sunday.
Monday.
Our tradition, we don't do meetings on Sundays, so we want to continue to be, please pretend to be Christians. And so Monday?
Yes.
Is that the feeling of members? Okay. Floor leader, when we come back, Monday. Congress is back in session. Floor leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Without any objection, I move that we stand in recess until 10 a.m. Monday.
It's moved and seconded that Congress stand in recess until tomorrow Monday, 10 in the morning. Those in favor of that motion say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Congress now stands in recess until Monday at 10 in the morning.